Today, we're going to deep clean this window air conditioner, and I'll show you one spot to clean that's commonly overlooked. We got a temperature and wattage reading beforehand, and we'll compare it after we clean it to see what kind of difference it made. So I start the stopwatch, turn the AC on cool, fan on high, and set the temperature to as cold as it can go. The watts gradually keep going up and the temperature going down, and it doesn't reach equilibrium until about 8 minutes into it. After 8 minutes, it pretty much holds on to 54 degrees for the rest of the test, and the watts goes up to 1200 watts and stays there pretty steady. This yellow thermometer is very accurate, and I use it just to kind of check on that orange thermometer, make sure it's reading correctly. So after 25 minutes, it looks like we have 54 degrees and about 1200 watts. Let's go deep clean it and come back. Okay, let's start this cleaning by taking out this little dinky air filter and giving it a good wash. To take off the cage, you need to take off a lot of screws, and it's good to have a little magnet like I have here. The previous owner had a bunch of different types of screws in here, and this is why I love this bit. Here, it's a Phillips, and you can see in just a second, I change it to a T25 Torx, and I don't have to go to my tool bag or my truck. I just flip it and it doesn't stop me at all. Now I'll keep taking off screws, and all of the screws on the outside pretty much have to do with taking off the shell. And then there's a few on the inside that you have to take off the front cover plate. Some models have clips on this as well. Now I'm going to take off the side curtains, and in my experience, these are just a terrible design. They get brittle and start to crack after just a few years, and the good news is you can replace them. And I just stumbled across an item on Amazon that had good reviews that I'm very curious about. It's a foam insert that acts as insulation, not just for temperature, but also to keep the sound out. Let me know in the comments if you've tried this, or if you want me to buy it and give it a try. To remove these, just pull them out to the side and lift up. We haven't broken anything yet on this old AC, so we're going to fix that right now. It was so rusted in there, it broke the screw off. So once you get out your dozen or so screws, the lid should come right off. Some cages, like in my other deep clean video I did, you have to slide it out. Now we need to get to this fan housing the best we can, so I'll take the styrofoam out. Ideally, it would have been nice to take this fan out and this plastic shroud straight up so I can clean it. But these bolts were way too rusted and there was no way I was getting that out. But if yours is like this, without the rusted screws, it'll make it a lot easier. So we'll just clean it the best we can from the areas we can reach. You can see there's a lot of leaves, dirt, and debris that just build up over time and need removed. Before I get to my foaming spray, I like to give everything a good soak and rinse what I can off with the water first. I've owned this hose nozzle for 4 years and I absolutely love it. I use it for car washes, spraying off houses, and almost anything else. I mean, look how far that thing shoots. Now I'm soaking the evaporator, or A-coil. One tip is don't spray at an angle or else you might bend these little aluminum coil fins. Now for the fun part, we get to mess around with a can of foam. This is my favorite foam cleaner, and it's pretty cheap, and I feel like it not only cleans but degreases the muck that builds up over years. Water will get dirt out, but you need something more than that, which you can also use like Simple Green, but I just feel like this foam gets right in the crevices and in between the coil fins and expands and cleans it really well. Hold up, let's go back. I forgot to tell you to take out this temperature sensor first. Plus, this is so fun and satisfying, it's worth doing the whole deep clean. I haven't had this much fun with foam since 3rd grade when they sprayed shaving cream on our desk and let us draw pictures. Ah yes, the good old days. Once you're done with the front side, now you go to the back side and work on the condenser. This usually takes the brunt of all the dirt as the fan blows dirt and debris and muck year-round into the condenser. This one's not even really that dirty, but you could see at the end of the video when we do our wattage and temperature test how much it'll make a difference on your wallet. Since I couldn't remove the fan shroud, I just got in there best I could so I could let the foam work its magic. There's a ton of surface area in between the coils, and you can see all the surface is contacted and is starting to break it down and lift the dirt. After it sits for a while, it starts melting off or kind of disappearing. That's a good time to get in there and rinse it off. Don't get too wild with the hose. Anything electrical could get ruined, such as your control box or your fan motor. So just pay attention to what you're cleaning. Make sure you do both sides of the evaporator coil in the front and then the condenser both sides in the back. Whatever you do, don't get a power washer. There's no need for it. Plus, that's way too much pressure and that's going to do more harm than good.
Yeah, there's still dirt hanging on there.
Depending on how bad it is, you're probably going to need some help with some sort of brush. You could use a wire brush, but that is very limited in where you can reach. But I found the perfect tool. It's a coil cleaning brush, not only for ACs, but also your fridge coils. Did you even know you had fridge coils you need to clean? You should probably watch my video I just came out with on how you're probably killing your refrigerator. You could buy 2 of these for $9, and it also helps get all the lint out of your dryer. Next, you're going to want to manually get out as much trash as you can with your hand or a vacuum. Air conditioners are designed to be out in the rain for years and years, so water won't affect anything, but just stay away from the electrical. You can either set it on a block or give it a slight tilt so the water gets out. But whatever you do, don't set it at a 90-degree angle on its side, because if you do that too long, oil can get into the compressor and cause issues. Okay, now I'm going to tell you the most important part to clean and pay attention to. This is the front of the unit that's in your house, and water drips from that coil, and the condensate needs to be able to flow through this little hole to the back of the machine. If this little hole gets plugged, it'll act as a dam, and the water will then have to go inside your room and cause a lot of damage. In my other video with a different style of unit, here's what it looks like on that. On this one, you can even use your handy dandy little brush and make sure the passage is clear. Now it's time to focus on your fan, which loves to harbor mold and dirt. You can just give it a good wash if it comes off like mine, or use your coil cleaning brush to finish the job. After you clean it, you can use my favorite mold killer, Concrobium, which not only kills mold, it leaves a protective layer that inhibits growth in the future. And whatever you do, do not use bleach, because any overspray that hits anything metal, it'll start to corrode it. Here's another little tip for you. You can put a screw at the very bottom of the styrofoam and let it drain out, and then put the screw back in after you're done. If this video has helped you out in any way, if you could take your little pointer finger and click the like button, that'd be like telling me a little thank you and giving me a pat on the back. After everything's pretty much clean and the water runs clear, touch up any areas that need to be clean and do a final rinse, and you'll be ready to put it back together. Don't leave yet, we still have the after results coming up in a little bit that'll blow the socks off you. Before installing your plastics, just give them a rinse, and you can even use soapy water and a brush, or get real detailed and use your spouse's toothbrush to get into the cracks, but however detailed you want to be, it's up to you. Now just put your styrofoam back in and start putting your cage on. Don't forget to put your temperature sensor back. There's nothing really interesting to say, so I'm going to let you just watch the time lapse. Or you can skip ahead 15 seconds. So let's get this thing fired up and do the after test. This isn't super scientific test, but I did try to make sure all the variables and environment was about the same. I'll write down the temperature and the wattage used at 5-minute intervals for you. The indoor temperature on the left was 74 degrees and the right 72 degrees when we started the test. And you could see the outside temperature was within 2 degrees when we started both tests. While these are going, let's talk about electricity cost and how that impacts your wallet. Electricity on your bill will be sold to you in kilowatt hours, which means 1,000 watt hours. So if an appliance used 1,000 watts and ran for 1 hour, you would be charged 1 kilowatt hour. The average price for a kilowatt hour in the US is 13 cents. I live in Kansas, so it's 12 cents per kilowatt hour. But if you lived in California, it would be about double, and even more so in Hawaii. As you will see in this test, the watts stay pretty close to 1200 for the before and around 830 for the after. So doing some math, if you lived in California and you ran the dirty AC all day long, it would cost $5.76. But if you cleaned it, it'd only be $3.93, and then times that for however many days you need to run it. But that's not the end of the story. That's if it put out the same amount of cold air, but you can see that cleaning it actually decreases your temperature coming out of your vents about 8 degrees. So a dirty AC actually probably costs 2 or 3 times more, because not only is it working a lot harder and gobbling up electricity, but it also has to work a lot longer to cool down the same room. And this is only a small 8,000 BTU unit. A bigger AC would have bigger savings. Another way a dirty air conditioner can affect your wallet is it has to run a lot harder and will decrease the lifespan of your AC. This will cause you to have to buy a new air conditioner more often. So yes, it's worth your 30 minutes to go out and clean it. Just think of it as like making 75 bucks an hour while you do it. Even a clean window AC will never compare to the new extremely efficient inverter air conditioners like this one I just did a video on. I have 4 reasons why I think I can convince you to buy one, and how it can pay for itself in just a few years. So maybe instead of deep cleaning your old one, you just dump it, invest in a good one that'll save you money, and as quiet as a church mouse.